So once again, very good day to everybody. So this is security system management in the tourism sphere. Actually, this particular class is actually only recommendation principles. So what we have the security order and recommended safety measures in tourism according to the World Trade Organization. Okay, so they have given some measures, some recommendations, what to follow. For example, during COVID-19, there was too much of hunky bunky business, like where like they will leave you in a hotel. So what are the procedures that has to be followed? Maybe if you are landing into another one country just for the sake of COVID problem. So what are the rules? Maybe for the tourist agent, what to follow? Maybe what you should follow as a responsible citizen. So that is the security order and recommended safety measures as well. Okay. So this is of course especially for you, my dear students and young researchers, and you can reach me at dr.christoananth@gmail.com. So before beginning the session, once again, let me thank God for giving me this golden opportunity to deliver this useful session, to share my knowledge among my fellow national, international participants, students, and young researchers. So, in today's class, we'll have a short introduction to the ICPT. Okay, International Code for the Protection of Tourists, ICPT. Okay, and then we discuss about the consumer rights of the tourist. Of course, everybody should know what are the consumer rights as a tourist. Suppose if you are going to another country, what are the rights that you should have? Okay. Then we try to establish the balance. What are the responsibility and roles you have? Clarity and certainty you have. Okay. Information availability, and then assistance or maybe support. What are the assistance or support that you will get from the host country or maybe from the third countries? How much what you are getting? Then unavoidable and extraordinary circumstances, that also we'll try to evaluate. Then during those COVID period, what are the administrative sanctions that you can get? Okay, and of course we discuss about repatriation. You have any idea about repatriation? Repatriation means sometimes there might be a situation where you will be asked to go back to the home country. You have come up in one country, okay? Due to COVID problem, they will say, okay, no, you go back to your own country. Even it has happened to me as well. Like in the capital city of the country, I was sent back due to security reasons. Please don't travel. Again, I have to. It's up to security system. Security system. Okay. And then there are some recommendations for the repatriation for the host country, country of origin, and then third countries as well. Okay. So in this class, I'll be giving you assignment 2 as well. Okay. And then at regular intervals, I'll be giving you some short videos to discuss the knowledge in our topics. Okay. So this is the ICPT, International Code for Protection of Tourists. So this is maybe if you can see like before COVID, like the life was very easy, was very simple. But afterwards, after COVID, there is no like during COVID even there is not proper procedure. If you can really observe, the international travelers felt too much problems. Maybe from one country to another country, suddenly they will stop. They will make you go to another country, transit flight. Then they will stay. You'll be made to stay there for quarantine. Okay, that quarantine it will be in one hotel. So what are the luxury benefits you will have? So these are all the things, but it is not coming pre-planned. You do not know what is happening, and tourism recovery also after COVID-19. It was very difficult, and that is the reason ICPT, International Code for Protection of Tourists, have given some minimum international standards for the protection of tourists in emergency situations. And you can also claim it because you have the ultimate right to actually ask for it. Okay, so this ICPT, International Code for Protection of Tourists, is given for the governments, state governments, central governments, public stakeholders, private stakeholders, tourists also. This ICPT is given, so you can actually travel very happily, very comfortably. Okay, you need not have to bother too much. Again, I am warning you that it is just minimal set of standards. You cannot expect maximum standards. I want this, I want that. You cannot have them. Okay, right. So you can create a feeling of safety, like you can feel comfortable for the tourists or maybe travelers, and of course you can improve the contractual relationships between the providers as well as recipients as well. Okay. So with regards to ICPT, okay, it is giving like policies, procedures, regulations, okay, and regulatory practices as well for the public as well as the private sector also. Okay, so this is the COVID 19 framework. Actually, whenever we are traveling, maybe during COVID 19, I think it was more prevalent during March 2020, correct? If you can remember, January 2020 they started. February 2020, 2020 they stopped. Okay, COVID is coming. Stop the flights. Okay, so March from March 16, there is restriction. Okay, so if you can say like there was absence of this international framework. Okay, you do not know what is happening, and the people who are officials who are administering the entire thing, they also don't know how to tackle with this effect as well. Okay, so there is lack of uniformity. Not in the state level, in the international level, there is no uniformity. Okay, so this is the right time that tourists, as responsible tourists, we have to ask for consumer rights. Okay, right. So during the crisis, the closure of borders with little or maybe no notice left hundreds or maybe thousands of tourists. They were left maybe like a placeless. They were not having a comfortable place to stay. Okay, because in one part of the area, too much of COVID patients, and maybe in the hotels also, again, COVID, those who are affected by COVID, those who are newly affected by COVID, okay, and those who got affected by COVID just because of the nearby passengers. So everything came into millions of flights have been cancelled. Even some flights, I can even say they did not repay the money also. So that also happened. Okay. So many of the travelers were left in a foreign environment without any support, without any assistance. So safety, security was also a big question mark during those times. Okay. So health services, sufficient resources, for example, like COVID patients, even they were starving for oxygen cylinders. So that basic thing also they were not getting. You remember in the hospitals there was lack of oxygen cylinders. Okay, so basic needs, even food also, good food, good shelter, we didn't get it. Okay, so yeah, so duties, responsibilities, care, assistance, support, everything has to be taken care of. But it actually, whenever you ask the tourist or maybe travelers during that time, they had only negativity. They were not secure. They were not safe. They were not getting good food. They were left in an like an island. They had no place to go. Okay, so that was the scenario. So this is where you should come up with a regulatory framework or maybe some procedures as well. So consumer rights of the tourists will vary from country to country. Okay, so like maybe you will have like vouchers as well as new digital tourism services as well. Okay, that has been slowly progressing. Okay, but during the COVID time, they cannot do anything. Even digital services also they cannot do anything because here everybody have been affected. Okay, so we restoring the customers' confidence, like bringing back the customers' confidence, was very tough after COVID. Now customer what? Okay, customer whenever he or she is booking the ticket. For example, I am booking the ticket. What I will see, is there any COVID in this country? Yeah. Huh? What about the safety level? Whether they are wearing mask, whether the food is hygienic, huh? Whether everybody is washing the hands and preparing the food. I will think. Okay, so everything, even the food that we offer in the flight, whether it is clean. So everything I will say. Okay, so restoring the confidence is very tough. Okay. So this you call it as harmonization. So which means everything has to work systematically. Everything has to work clearly. Okay. So you can develop and maintain minimum international standards as well. Okay. So you have to harmonize the policies, procedures as well. So maybe it will definitely bring back the confidence of the international tourists. Okay. So regardless of the nationality, for example, you cannot say country, I mean people from this country should be given least preference. Only people from this country should be given more preference. You cannot say like that. Every people are equal. Okay, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of the nationality, irrespective of the local guys. Okay, international tourist. Okay, race, color, gender, religion, language, political. Okay, for example, he or she is at a very high position, should be given preference. Not like that. Everybody has to be given preference irrespective of the birth and the status. Okay, so there should be some balance as well. What you want, or maybe what is desirable, and what you can actually achieve. For example, you can think, okay, this I wanted to achieve, but in reality this is what we can get. Okay, this is balance in the safety regulations, safety policies. Okay, so there should be some special regard with regards to position as well as tourism stakeholders as well. So with regards to country of origin, or maybe country of destination. Okay, or distribution of responsibilities as well, there should be some balance. Okay, so there shouldn't be any discrimination based on gender or maybe religion or race and so on. Okay, so for example, the tourist, okay, he or she is physically handicapped. Okay, that also should be taken care. Okay, for example, you must take care of the ladies, pregnant ladies as well during this thing. Okay, for example, they have special feed care rooms as well. You remember, in the airports you have special feed care rooms as well. So that also has to be taken care. So maybe during the emergency situation you shouldn't say, no, we cannot do anything, come. You cannot say. Okay, the everyone has the consumer rights. Okay, yes, of course they are traveling, but they should be given right. Okay, everybody should be given equal opportunity. Okay, and there should be international cooperation and coordination as well. So maybe during this emergency situation, sometimes there will be a fight between the public as well as private sectors, because public sectors so far earlier they would be offering the services. Suddenly private sector, just by giving too much services, they will come up. Okay, but during the COVID time, only public sectors were able to provide more. Okay, so there shouldn't be any clash. There should be cooperation in the national level, regional level, local level, and international level as well. Okay, so both governmental organizations and non-governmental organizations also to support the international tourists in the emergency situations. Okay, so everything should be easily accessible. Okay, the services should be easily accessible. It should be timely also. At the time you should deliver. Okay, and it should be objective. You should be true. Okay, and it should be clear cut. Okay, and for any safety conditions, or maybe any accident, during any accident, okay, you should give the first preference, first aid. Okay, so these methods, everything should be made available in the host country as well as country of origin, also in the third countries also. Okay. And then there should be responsibility also. Okay, so there are some geographical areas where emergency situation has arisen. Maybe the responsibility is to follow the information given by the TSP, tourism service provider. Okay, so irrespective of the countries where they come from, so we have to follow the tourism service provider. For example, even in our country we have like one app. Okay, before traveling they will say like ROK or set to or something. You have to register in this app, enter all the details, whether you have taken the COVID vaccine, whether you are free from any transmitted diseases, everything they will ask. It is just to protect. Yeah. It is just for safety. You shouldn't take it in the wrong sense. Why I should register? why I should do like this? You shouldn't say. Like, they are here to help you. Okay, right. Also, international tourists should be completely aware of the safety, health, and then security risks also. So there should be some health and security protocols also established by the public authorities in the time of crisis. And of course, you can actually take travel insurance also. Okay, just like health insurance, just like life insurance corporation, LIC, Star Health, Star in our country, you have Star Health Insurance. Okay, similarly, you will have travel insurance also. You can also take them. And then accessibility. Okay, so all the services should be available to everybody. Okay, for example, some tourists will have specific needs. Okay, as I told you, physically handicapped, or maybe ladies, pregnant ladies. Okay, or maybe somebody who has maybe who are more cautious about food. Okay, so that also should be additionally they should seek this information, they should get this information, and they should help them. Even in emergency situations also, they should not be excluded from these factors. Like maybe, okay, let us take in the case I have some health issue with some food. Okay, during the emergency situation, they cannot say, no, 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 during the emergency, no, you can only eat this food. They shouldn't say, because it is the consumer right. Because if they approve the flight travel, they should take care of this one. Okay, and safety measures, travel updates. For example, when we travel, whenever we have this balloons or maybe airbags, you have everything should be there. Okay, and of course, all the decision making information should be publicly available as well. So there should be clarity and certainty as well. Okay, so service providers should clearly know the rights as well. Okay, they should also know the rights, what the customer needs, and what you should actually provide to the entire audience. Okay, so this one, it's a risk targeted approach. Okay, because it is happening, or maybe it is applicable to the emergency situations during danger. Okay, so you should have a regulatory approaches targeted at risk, and you should have objectives as well for equality, for non-discrimination, and maybe proportionality as well. Okay, so this is whatever procedures you are having, it should be clear, it should be certain. Okay, not like during the emergency situation it will not work, other situation it will work, not like that. Okay. So there are some recommendations as well. So prevention recommendation. So you should establish a permanent, professional, efficient, and effective crisis management services for operating these measures in the emergency situations. Okay. Also, you should establish specific programs like awareness program before the travel, or maybe before the entire situation. For example, you are the president of this country, let us take in the case. So, or maybe you are the most important person. Maybe you are, maybe let us take in the case you have come to visit other country. Okay, you are a very VIP. Okay, so before that, awareness programs can be given. Maybe plans can be given. Okay, protocols can be given for the emergency conditions. Okay, so that has to be taken care by the tourism service providers, and it should have consumer authorities, and the same should be applicable. Whatever is applicable for you, it should be applicable for the international tourists also. Okay. So also, whatever procedures that we are maintaining, it should be continuously monitored. For example, one time we are forming the policies and forget about that. Not like that, please. Continuously, it should be observed. For example, COVID has gone. There is no assurance that COVID might come. That is also a possibility. So in this case, what are the drawbacks that were faced by the international tourists during the COVID time? So maybe if it comes, what are the policies and procedures that needs to be updated? So that has to be done. So, and of course, advising, maybe you can talk with other countries as well, what problems they faced. Okay, you can talk with the locals also, what problem they face. Okay, and you can coordinate with the application of the programs. For example, you made a digital program and it is not working well as planned, that also you can go for. Okay, so this will definitely help the international tourists in the emergency situations. And then information availability. So maybe you can have in the airports like information hub, or maybe in the mobile apps also for tourism service providers, and of course the consumer authorities will take care of the international tourists. Okay, and as I told you in the Arogya Setu one app we have. Okay, so you have to update this information also. Sometimes this one PCR test. You know PCR test. We have to take 2 COVID vaccine and then PCR test also. Okay. Earlier they were asking many things. Do you have fever? Do you have this? Do you have that? Okay. Now the procedures have changed. Now PCR test is not required. Whether you have taken the COVID vaccine or not is what they are asking in the airport, Tashkent airport. Yes. So this is, you have to update the information. Okay. And communication materials also. So that maybe it will definitely help the people who have some needs, who have some requirements. Okay. So it should be available in the both the format. Physical also should be there, electronic also should be there, even in the mobile app also it should be there. Okay. So you cannot say only physical medium is there, app and all it is not there. You cannot say, because you are bringing a universal law, you are bringing a rule. Regulation means it should be common, it should be open. Okay. So also another one thing is that sometimes what happens even in the instructions you are giving, it is not clear. The local people even cannot understand. There can be if clauses also. For example, I'm putting one particular line. That line can be yes or it can be no also. So it should be very clear cut. Everybody should understand. Okay, and it should be displayed in the multi languages also. So there should be like a development of financial schemes as well. So it should be, as I told you, even the financial schemes also like fair travel insurance schemes or maybe guarantee systems. Everything should be publicly available in all the media. Okay, like physical media, electronic media. Okay, as mobile apps also, it should be made available. And in the case of pandemic events also, sometimes what happen, we might book the ticket. Okay, and sometimes they are canceling. So financial scheme should be in a position to refund the money. Okay, many times it happened like they are not repaying the money. Okay, although they have money, they are not repaying because they are lazy and they do not want to give the money. They want to loot the money. They want to steal the money. Okay, so that should be there. Cost of support should be there. For example, even while booking the flight, you see this one. This is the basic airfare, and this is the support. For example, if you need any support, you have to pay extra. Okay, so that should be there. Okay, maybe for the case of any treatment, medical quarantine, maybe let us take in the case sometimes you see, okay, everything is good, suddenly they say no, COVID is increasing, you go back to your home country. How will we go? Money we need. So that also it should be included. Okay, so everything should be there, treatment, quarantine, repatriation, everything should be included. Okay, and then financial schemes should also be given support to the tourism service providers also, because sometimes tourism service providers are the one who is giving the service to us. Okay, they are not people here, they have to be paid money. You cannot say no. Actually, it is emergency situation. We cannot pay the money. You cannot say. Government should give money. Okay, to the tourism service providers. They are giving services. Also, during the emergency situation, they are giving more services, and that should be taken care of also. Okay, so appropriate measures, procedures should be given for the emergency situations to the maximum extent. And then information. Okay, so telecommunication, department of telecommunication union or maybe ministry of telecommunication should have this telecommunication facilities for each individual country, and then up to date available information should be there. Sometimes I have even seen some websites, okay, information is not up to date. Sometimes they will put something, it is valid only till this date, and maybe like 6 months would have passed. 6 months would have passed, till the information is not updated. Okay, so border procedures. when you cross from border to border, what are the procedures? Okay, whether you need visa on arrival, whether electronic visa is required, whether visa can be given in the airport itself. Okay, available means of transport. So for example, you have landed in one place. From here, what is the available means of transport? The information should be there. Okay. Also, maybe if you are going to the destination, maybe that destination it is not safe. So safety protocols, what you should follow. Okay. Security measures, practical information that should be given. Okay. So this information should be available to this competent authorities as well on the official websites and also in the social media platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, Twitter, and so on. Also, there is also another one thing. Most common problem is this one, language. Sometimes they will display only in their country language. Tourists like us, we will not understand. Only if it is in English, I will understand. If it is in some other language, like Chinese or Japanese, I will never understand. So it should be in all the language, and tourists should definitely understand. And then interoperable contact tracing apps also. Okay, so this information about tourism, travel, transport professionals, consumer agencies, service providers, everything should be there in the main transport. What is the main transport? Flight or maybe train, whatever may be the thing that should be there. Also hospitality support and then public health infrastructures also. Okay, so fully functional cross-border voluntary approved and then interoperable contact tracing app also should be there. So maybe for example you have registered all this information as I told you, Arogya Setu. Okay, maybe that will access your location where you are before 30 minutes he was going to this country. This app will say. Hmm? Also, the app should operate between country to country. It should not operate in only one country. So it should be a universal app. Okay, if available, and all the personal data also it should provide protection. For example, you will feed all the details in one app, and this app will sell your data for money. So personal data protection also should be there. And if suppose that app is selling your personal data, then what are the laws that are available? That also it should be publicly available. Okay, so that during the emergency situation, this interoperable contact tracing apps should be there for support for the international tourists.